My name is Adam Castaneda, United States Marine Corps veteran, and currently a nationally certified expert life coach, recovery coach, and intervention professional. Speaking from my personal experience with mental illness and struggles, trials, and tribulations, struggling with schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type, psychosis, PTSD, depression, manic depression, anxiety, and also co-occurring psych substance disorder, where I've dual diagnosis, where I've utilized drugs at the same time, illicit drugs, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, pills, different things over the counter, alcohol, cocaine, meth, all that stuff that has exacerbated mental illness and brought it out more extreme. Okay, so I've suffered from both. Now I'm 100% clean. All I struggle with is mental illness. However, that's manageable with medication that I would highly recommend to anyone struggling with mental illness, seeing a doctor, getting therapy, getting counseling, getting treated for mental illness. But other than that, you have to take holistic approaches. You have to do everything that's good for your body, staying clean and absent from drugs and alcohol, and exercising, eating right. That's the whole lifestyle change, where if you're watching this channel, you want to get clean, or your family member wants you to get clean, somebody in your family loves you enough to bring you to this page and channel and this information where you could get a 7-day free trial. You could watch all my videos in a couple days. All right, it's a 7-day free trial. Download all my notes for free, and then probably cancel if you really find no benefit. However, my resources can save lives. Okay, my information that I put down on paper, that I talk about, the way I speak about how I've made it through my journey and my recovery, things I've done, foods I eat, my diet, eliminating certain things from my diet to maintain health. So I'm not going to die from drugs because I don't do drugs. I'm not going to get in a car accident and kill a family because I don't drink alcohol. And I'm not going to die from diabetes because I don't overdo it on sugar. I limit sugar, I limit bread, I limit carbohydrates to where I'm not going to get pancreatitis. I'm not going to die from that. I'm not going to get a whole bunch of inflammation in my body and brain from all the foods the negative foods that are soda, candy, bread, starchy foods, and a lot of, junk food that you get at greasy restaurants, trans fat, saturated fat. They cook it in grease and that clogs up your arteries. I'm a lot less likely to get heart disease because not only do I not eat junk food, I go to the gym. I do cardiovascular every day. Every single day, walk around the block, go to the gym, walk a mile, hit incline. I start jogging. My heart is going to be strong at an older age. I have longevity. I can look after my family. This is what I want for anyone watching my channel, to be able to provide for their family, protect and provide, all right? And be a guardian angel in the family. Be a guardian angel, right? Take care of the people you love. Take care of yourself, okay? You want to make sure you're clean and healthy so that you can not only take care of yourself, but take care of those close to you, those you love, friends and family, close friends who are like family, okay? If you have someone in the family or a friend who's struggling with mental illness or drug addiction or both, I've suffered from that spectrum of things: drug addiction, mental illness, and both, dual diagnosis, co-occurring psych substance disorder, where it's mental illness, drug addiction, and then both at the same time, where I'm mentally ill, I'm doing drugs, and that exacerbates my mental illness to where, maybe more hallucinations, more voices, that were in remission I didn't even have before, but it was underlying. Maybe they were recessive. I don't know, but I've pretty much been insane, on certain drugs and alcohol, just constantly using years and years and years. And I made it out, okay? Now I'm doing accounting. Now I'm managing books for clients. Now have a stable, solid lifestyle, stable, solid life and journey and income to where I can support myself and my family, okay? This is what I want for anyone watching this channel, to get clean, all right? Change your lifestyle, change your habits, okay? Start getting educated, learn something. You might have to study just get a 2-year degree, an associate's degree at college. You can learn how to use QuickBooks, accounting. You can learn a whole bunch of different trades, whole bunch of different jobs, whole bunch of different things, just getting a 2-year degree, right? You could do a lot, right? And even if you stick with college, get a 4-year degree, stick with the trades, electrician, plumbing, welder. I have my plumber's license. I could do that part-time. I could work on people's faucets, sinks, toilets, water heaters. I could specialize in water heaters and make damn good money, okay? Becoming a master plumber, All right, even a responsible master plumber owning a plumbing business. I have all these opportunities available to me. All I have to do is execute. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to accounting firms, talking to accountants, passing out my information, business cards, flyers, handwritten notes, specific to the company, getting business, getting clients, getting the word out, starting my legitimate bookkeeping business. I'm a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor. Okay, I'm a QuickBooks certified Pro Advisor. I'm mastering this technology and I'm getting good. And I'm able to manage people's books, hand it off to a CPA and accountant for the IRS, and be tax ready and audit ready, bulletproof, all right, for the IRS, right? I protect my clients. And this is something that I've got into that I could kind of teach. I could teach my clients, anyone who's, a client of my channel, the Recovery Protocol. I could teach them a little bit about accounting, but also how to write a book, how to use AI to help you write a book, how to publish a book for free on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, right? Writing your memoir or autobiography. We could work together to help you publish that, give it to your friends, have something you're proud of, write your journey, everything, your whole life, just from childhood to where you are today, where you want to be, your hopes for the future and your goals for the future, right? Your bucket list, your vision board for the future, where you want to be 10, 20, 30 years from now, okay? And not only that, you'll have something you can sell. You'll have a business. You can help you teach you where to go to get copyrights, copyright your book. Now it's yours, all right? It's legally protected, and that's not too expensive, okay? That's the one thing you might have to pay for. And once you do that, you have your book. You can market it, sell it to friends and family, make a website, put it on social media, and you might not get 1 million sales overnight, but it's there and it has potential. And you can speak on podcasts, all right? That's what I'm trying to do, speak on podcasts. You can, market yourself with YouTube ads, Google ads, social media ads, and things like that when you set up a business account. So many opportunities you have available to you that, sitting back, doing drugs, shooting up, hanging out with the wrong crowd, it's going to get you killed. There's fentanyl in 7 out of 10 pills out there. 7 out of 10 pills are counterfeit with fentanyl. There's still over 70,000 Americans dying every single year from drug overdose. All right, that could be laced. Some drug dealers lace that in a cigarette. They'll lace something in a cigarette to where there's been a schoolgirl that's died from that. A baby's died from fentanyl exposure because the parents had it and the baby breathed it in, just being around it. Cops have almost died. They'd have to get naloxone because they've just been around fentanyl. They opened up a trunk, there's fentanyl in there, and they hit the ground and they passed out and they had to get Narcan by their partner, right? So fentanyl is an extreme issue that, it's not like it was 20, 30 years ago. Now, fentanyl is being imported from China, India, being smuggled across the border from Mexico and Canada, getting to all major U.S. cities, pretty much everywhere in the U.S., and it's in all neighborhoods, affluent to low class to middle class, it's everywhere. And any kids going out there thinking they're going to party, getting some off the street, not only are you funding the cartel, you're funding, heinous cartel operations, because that goes to the cartel leaders. Whenever you give money to anyone selling drugs, that came from the cartel on the street, all right? If you have to do drugs for some crazy reason, trauma or depression, whatever, just weed's probably the safest at a dispensary. I still don't recommend it because I teach and preach only staying 100% clean from everything, drugs and alcohol, everything, okay? Even cigarettes, all right? But if you have to, weed is still gonna mess you up when you're driving. It's still gonna mess you up in school, at work. It's still gonna confuse you or kind of alter your perception. But, if you have a weekend or whatever, and you can get it legally at a dispensary where it's not gonna be laced with fentanyl. That's the only thing you have to worry about, things being laced with fentanyl. My channel is mainly to prevent fentanyl overdoses, right? So if you get marijuana at a dispensary, it's highly unlikely to be, laced with fentanyl. I believe there's virtually 0 cases of weed from a dispensary being laced with fentanyl, unless someone buys it and they lace it later and then sell it to you on the street, okay? So that's a possibility. So, alcohol, probably not laced with fentanyl. It's legal. I still don't recommend it. People get in car accidents. There's a lot of domestic abuse. There's a lot of violence within families, a lot of bad relationships, marriage, divorces, problems in marriages to where, it doesn't work out because of alcoholism. Ben Affleck is one example. He's a famous actor, right? The Daredevil guy, and his family with Jennifer Garner, his wife, she split up with him because he had a drinking problem. Hits anybody, right? And you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be that person who struggles with family relationships because of an alcohol problem or a drug problem, right? You want to get clean. If you're watching this is just an intro video, but your family loves you, right? Your family loves you. Think about all the positive things you could do with your life. If all this was shattered today and you lost your life today because you took a hit or you took a pill or you did something with a friend at a party and it was laced with fentanyl, or maybe your heart gave out, your heart couldn't take the cocaine, you might just got a pure cocaine or pure meth, and your heart gave out, it exploded, it was too much, you had a heart attack, right? Now, if you survive, half your body will be paralyzed because that's what a stroke can cause, or you might die. There's young adults, 20, 30 years old, that die from heart attacks from cocaine and meth, okay? It still happens. And no matter how you die, fentanyl, heart attack, accident, something like that, overdose, then if your whole life's gone today, think about what you'll leave behind, right? What they'll say at your funeral, your obituary, what you left behind, and how much more you want to accomplish. You're alive right now if you're watching this video, and all the things you can do. Have that bucket list, right? Start with 10 things you want to do. You want to build better relationships. You want to make amends to your family. You want to write letters to your family, people you've hurt. You want to get a better paying job, right? People who respect you. You want to get an AA sponsor. You want to go to AA meetings. You want to go to NA meetings, okay? You want to go to group therapy. You want to see a psychologist, okay? You want to see medical professionals. Maybe you want to see a psychiatrist, right? That deals in, holistic regimens. That not maybe either you get prescribed medication, prescription medication, or a combination of also lifestyle changes, holistic regimen, certain vitamins you could take, fish oil, okay? Multivitamin, okay? CoQ10 for your heart, okay? Maybe like lion's mane or ginkgo biloba for your brain, for your memory, to boost cognitive functioning, okay? You could take, just medicine from your local GNC or, nutrition store to help you, right? H-E-B and Walmart sells vitamins over the counter, quality vitamins. So just make sure you're getting quality vitamins, and that's gonna boost your whole body. Your body's a machine, okay? Your body's a machine, just like your car. Your car is a machine. If you put crap in it, it's not gonna run right. It's gonna break down. You don't wanna put crap in your body. You do not wanna put crap in your body. Junk food at McDonald's, junk food at fast food, cooked in grease, the way they cook it, it's high in sodium too. And sodium's bad for your heart and other organs, kidneys, liver. It's bad for your whole body. Sodium, cholesterol, trans fat, saturated fats. These things are bad for you. You need to go shopping and get things that are low sodium, low cholesterol, zero trans fat, okay? And low saturated fat. You want to get monounsaturated fats. Eat things like pistachios, almonds, walnuts, okay? You want to eat things like oatmeal that has fiber, and all that fiber is going to pretty much clean you out, okay? It's going to lower your triglycerides, lower your cholesterol, okay? So your body is a machine. Once you feel better, you're going to have more energy. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel like you want to take over the world. You're going to feel like you can do anything. You're going to feel like, I could do this plumbing thing. I could become an electrician. I could be a social worker, a peer support specialist. I can help people. You're going to be motivated to help people. Now, not only are you making better money, you're feeling better, you're more positive, you have a positive outlook on the world, and you have a positive outlook, a positive influence and impact in your community. You host events. You could get a co-working space. You could teach people, have meetings at co-working spaces, right? You could also just host events at your local church or your backyard. You could put on the Nextdoor app. Hey, everyone in the community, I'm going to host an event. We're going to get together, talk about jobs, kind of like a miniature job fair, talk about where our lives are going. We're just going to try to meet people in the neighborhood. Maybe our kids can be friends, stuff like that, and they could hang out. We could, have just different things like a balloon party, or we could do archery, or we could go bowling, or we could, do things like that, right? So get some exercise, get a jogging partner, a workout partner, a swimming partner, You know, find a, like LA Fitness, a gym that has a swimming pool. You know, get a membership, get a partner, you know, go with a friend, you know, challenge each other, be like, let's time each other. Let's do a few laps and for about 10 minutes and see who wins, you know, race each other. And so, you know, you want to do positive things, be motivated to get stronger, smarter, you know, more fit, more competent, more capable, and expert at your craft. For me, it's QuickBooks. I'm going to become expert at QuickBooks. I'm damn good already, but I'm going to become a master of QuickBooks. I'm going to become expert, the go-to guy, the best in the city. All right. I'm going to become one of the best in the nation, right? Maybe the world, right? Top 10%, top 5, top 1%, maybe. That's my goal, right? To get to the top. And I might not get 1 million customers. I might not start a multi-million national firm, you know, a multi-million-dollar firm, but I'm going to get some, I already have some customers, some clients. I'm taking care of it, taking care of business, getting the word out. And I'm just working as hard as I can, right? I'm staying clean. I had a guy, he was an elderly gentleman, a black man at a hospital. He was a psychiatric nursing assistant. His name was Glenn, okay? I said, man, I'm not doing too good, right? None of my books are selling. I'm not making good money. I don't have a job. I'm in a psych ward, you know, and, you know, I have this court order against me. I have to take medication and, you know, it doesn't seem to be working out. He said, man, Adon, you know, you're highly successful in my book. In my book, you're a good guy. You're successful because there's millionaires out there that become drug addicts or alcoholics, and they lose relationships, right? They get divorces and their kids hate them. Their kids hate them and they get a divorce and they end up dying and overdosing. And for me, he said, look, Adon, you're staying clean. You're not smoking cigarettes. You're not doing drugs, you know, and you're writing these books and you're working hard and you're trying to make money and you're trying to support a family. You're extremely successful in my book, right? And as a nurse, he's just a minimum wage, he's making $13 an hour. And he gave me this wisdom. He imparted this wisdom unto me. He bestowed this wisdom unto me. And it made it, for me, that was very impactful because, you know, it made me stop and think, okay, I'm clean. I'm not doing drugs, not doing alcohol. I'm working towards a job. I'm going to school, trying to support a family, taking care of my household. And, you know, I've got my health. I've got my mental and physical health. And if you have that, you can do anything, right? Even if you're homeless on the street, you have your mental and physical health, right? You're strong and you're capable. You're strong and you're capable. You can do anything you want, right? You can help others, peer support. That's what I'm doing here, peer support. And I consider myself a self-claimed peer support specialist. Currently, you know, I'm an actually certified life coach, recovery coach, and intervention professional that will expire around June 2026. So if you're watching this video later than that, you know, I apologize. I will have to get recertified. If not, I'll just be a basic peer support specialist speaking to the best of my ability from my experiences, things I've been through. I've overdosed a bunch of times. I've totaled my car. I've wrecked my car, you know, messed up on pills and alcohol, and I messed up my back. And it was extremely damaging. I was in a lot of pain. And, you know, I've had to recover from that. And my car got totaled. I lost that. That was something that I lost. And now I've thrown up a bunch of times from sleeping pills and a bunch of pills and drugs on the street and prescription drugs, to where if I didn't throw up, I would have died, right? I bought pills from overseas. And, you know, when that came in, I started vomiting from that. And I thought it was like poison, but it was just me overdosing. And I had to flush them down the toilet. That's one of the main things you're going to want to do. Flush your stash. If you're watching this, flush your stash. That's the first thing you need to do. Flush your stash. Second thing, disconnect your social media. Delete all your social media and change your phone number, right? Now the drug dealers can't get a hold of you, right? Change your email, delete your social media, change your phone number, and delete your email and set up a new email, right? You want to lose contact with any drug dealers. Any drug dealers, you don't want them to be able to find you, right? If they come by your house, say, I'm going to get a restraining order if you come around again. Warn them, and then if they come by, warn the cops. Call the cops, get a restraining order, okay? And then just block and disappear. Block and disappear. If the cops don't do anything, you have to move, hightail it, go to another city, go to another state, right? This is what you have to do for survival, for your family. For you as an addict or your family. If you have an apartment, break the contract. You know, move as soon as possible. Just live with family if you can. And then find a new apartment, find a new trailer, find a new house, rent a house, whatever you can do, wherever you can live, a condo, doesn't matter. Go somewhere safe, somewhere where nobody knows where you are. If you have to, change your name. Change your name. You don't want drug dealers, because if they're part of the cartel, they can be extremely organized. They can be extremely high-tech and advanced and sophisticated in their methods and being able to find you on the internet, social media, looking you up, right? And if they find you, it's a bad thing, right? It's you don't want them to be able to find you in any way, shape, or form, right? Any possible way they can find you. You want to be able to, eliminate that possibility, right? So if you move to a different city or state, if you change your phone number, they can't call you. Delete your social media, they can't hit you up, right? Change your email, delete your email. They're not going to be able to email you. How can they get a hold of you? They don't know where you are. Anyone who knows the drug dealer, any mutual connections, any friends of the drug dealer, you need to block all those phone numbers as well. Block all those phone numbers, so even if they get your new number, it's blocked, right? It's blocked. These old friends can't get a hold of you. Block, block, block. You're changing your life. This is your new circle, your new world. Make new friends, group therapy, AA meetings, NA meetings. Speak to people who want to recover like you. Go to church. And some churches don't work. Not all the churches work. Sometimes they're not there are certain people that are not as outgoing, or they're elderly, or they're maybe not your age group or your personality. So try another church. Go to another church. Hit up a few churches. Go to different churches until you find them that are accepting of who you are as an individual. And you can speak to them and be yourself, and you can let them know you're on a recovery journey, and they can understand that, and they could be your workout partner, your Bible study partner. You could go bowling, you could go do archery, you could fly a plane together. You could do different things together, and just making new friends in the community, hosting events. We're going to play chess. We're going to join the chess club, right? We're going to play chess on the weekends. We're going to go to tournaments. We're going to have fun. We could do this virtually. We could do this in person, right? We're going to meet up. We're going to have coffee, right? We can have tea. Tea is a good thing. Tea is extremely beneficial. Herbal tea is very healthy. You want 1 or 2 cups a day. Make that your new habit. Build your new habits. These are your new habits, right? Church, herbal tea, a little bit of coffee, going to chess, joining the chess club, doing some archery, right? Going bowling, right? Maybe flying a plane, or at least taking a tour around the city, going on a flight in a little Cessna around the city. If you're that kind of risk taker, if you're a little bit of an adrenaline junkie and you want the experience, right? Go to a nice restaurant, buy yourself something nice, treat yourself, right? Start doing your push-ups, start going to the gym, work out, walk 1 or 2 miles a day, hit the incline, right? Get yourself in shape, get strong, take your protein, eat right, chicken and fish, right? Fish, you want to eat 2-3 times a week. Good for your brain and heart. Chicken, high in protein. Get low sodium, right? And that's going to help you, right? It's going to be filling, satiating, and it's not junk food, right? It's high in protein. You don't want that junk food. You don't want things that are bad for you. You don't want to eat too much beef. You don't want to eat too much of certain foods, like fruits, a lot of sugar. You want to have a smoothie like once or twice a week, a high fiber smoothie. Add some fiber, add some collagen, add some grains, add some protein, and you got yourself a good smoothie. Mango, kale, blueberries, you got some bananas, you have a small smoothie once a week, once or twice a week. You're doing positive things. These are your new habits, right? You start building, these are like millionaire habits. These little things build up, and you'll start getting organized. You'll start thinking efficiently. You'll start operating efficiently. Your body will feel better, and you'll be able to hit the ground running, right? You'll be able to make a lot of progress and improvements in your life, right? You're going to be able to be on top of things. You're going to be on top of your game, right? You're going to be on your A game. And this is what I ask of my students, of anyone watching the Recovery Channel, anyone who signs up as a member. My members, I want hyper success for. I want my members to be successful. You might not make millions of dollars, but you're going to be clean. You're going to think right. You're going to be healthy, all right? And you're going to be strong and fit, right? Your body's that machine, right? You're going to be a strong and fit machine. You're going to live as long as possible. You're going to be healthy. You're going to look after your family. You're going to be a guardian angel in your family, that guardian angel, that protector, right? You're going to be a protector. People are going to know you as a protective guardian angel, right? You're going to be able to send money to your kids, protect them if something happens. You're going to be strong enough to defend them, right? You're going to be able to be smart enough to move to where you need to go to get away from the cartel, right? To get away from the situation and take your kids or take yourself. You're going to be smart enough to take them to a new city, a new state, a new neighborhood, right? New apartment complex, new neighborhood, a new house, condo, trailer, you know, wherever you got to move until you find somewhere safe, until you find a community, until you find a church, yeah, right? To where you can meet the right people in your life, to where your circle is so tight, your circle is so strong, your network are people that you trust with your life. Your network are people that you trust with your life and people you trust with your family's lives. And that's where you want to be, right? People who you trust. Trust is the most important thing, right? And your time, your life, and trusting others. Not everyone. You can only trust certain people. You know, you're going to have to analyze and assess and be very careful in the decisions you make of who you trust and who you enter into your family's lives, into your world, right? If I'm an addict, whether I'm the parent or the child, if I let someone in the house and they're bringing in drugs and they're a danger and weapons and all sorts of, you know, just a messed up mentality, right? That's bringing in danger to my family. Not only are they doing drugs, one day they're going to bring in fentanyl, drugs with fentanyl, and that's going to kill someone in the family. If I have kids, the kid touches it or breathes it in, it could possibly be lethal to a baby, right? If it gets around a baby, a child, whoever, if you touch fentanyl, it could be absorbed in the skin and you could overdose and die from that. Like I said, there's been cops who inhale it. They opened up a trunk from a drug dealer, inhaled some fentanyl, and they passed out on the ground. Could have died, but they had to get Narcan from their partner, right? So, you know, fentanyl is one of the worst drugs. Any drug is bad. You could have a heart attack, you can overdose. Ecstasy can fry your brain. You take too much. You know, you're at a rave dancing, a partying, and sweating, and your core body temperature overheats. It can't be regulated with all the drugs. You can't process it good enough or quick enough. And your brain fries and overheats. And then you basically, your brain melts. You just pass out, you start foaming at the mouth, and you die. You don't want that to happen to anyone you love or care about or any of your friends if you have compassion for them, okay? So any member, you're going to get a lot more content similar to this. I just speak my mind, what I've seen in the news, what I see on the street, what I've been through, what things I've seen in my life, and things that, you know, I've been through myself. My recovery journey with mental illness, drug addiction, and dual diagnosis, okay? So, as I said, you know, I want you to be strong, fit, capable, and strong, educated. I want you to progress, excel in life, you know, and I want you to be clean, competent, and sober, okay? Abstinent from all drugs and alcohol, not even cigarettes, right? You're watching this, I'm a Marine, I was in the Marine Corps. There's a zero tolerance for drugs, okay? We're strong, we're fit. You know, the elite ones, if you want to be elite, right? Like an elite soldier, an elite member of your community, an elite, you know, QuickBooks specialist, you want to be an elite partner, an elite husband, an elite wife, right? You're going to be clean, competent, and sober, because every time you drive, hit the street, you don't want to put families in danger, kids or babies in danger. You don't want to put anyone in danger. If you're doing drugs, you're putting yourself in danger. You know, you're putting your family at risk. You don't want to be that person. You want to be elite, okay? You don't have to be a multimillionaire to be elite. You have to be strong and fit, strong, capable, smart, educated, all right? You got to take care of business, take care of your family. Be a guardian angel, be a protector in your family. Be that guardian angel, protective agent, right? You have to be like an operator, right? Think of like if a CIA was an operator, they have to be strong, capable, smart. They're supposed to be intelligence officers, the most intelligent on the planet. You know, is what some people believe. And you have to do the same thing. Read books, listen to audiobooks, go to Audible, you know, download the app, listen to audiobooks, and get as smart as possible, right? Read books that are educational. While you go to the gym and you're just walking and working out, you could be listening to a book at the same time. Every time you drive, listening to audiobooks, right? You could be reading books, getting certain books, going to school, working hard, mastering a craft, learning a specific job and getting expert at it, becoming a master of that job, okay? Whatever it is, as a peer support specialist, be the best peer support specialist you could be. Martin Luther King Jr. said something like this, to where if you're going to be a street sweeper, you're going to be the best street sweeper there is on the block, in the neighborhood, in the community. You're going to sweep those streets like no one else can sweep those streets, right? You're going to, okay, so the same thing, same concept. Peer support specialist, you want to help others like no one else can. You want to motivate them, instill discipline, instill responsibility, have accountability, right, for these people. And that's what I'm going to do in my Discord channel. Hold members accountable, all right? If they're doing drugs, hey, we might have to get them to rehab, okay? We might have to get them clean, detox center, right? Have you disconnected communication with these drug dealers? All right, change your number right now. Change your number right now. Disconnect social media, delete social media, all right? And, block them all. Block all these friends that are doing drugs. You don't want any of them in your life. And maybe send them a text. We can't be friends until you get clean, blocked, And if they get clean, then you can be friends. But you don't want anyone in your world, anyone in your family, any one of your friends doing drugs. If you can, pull them up with you, right? The only reason you should be looking down on your brothers or your sisters is because you're pulling them up with you, right? So if they're struggling, pull them up with you, right? Bring them to my program, see what they can learn. Get a 7-day free trial, 7-day free trial. Download everything. Go through all the videos. You can do it in 1 or 2 days, right? It's not a whole lot, but it's very compact, condensed, and powerful, life-changing. It will alter the trajectory of your life, all right? I guarantee this, and that's my guarantee. If you don't think it can help, then cancel, right? If you want to join the Discord channel, we'll get together, play chess, work on your recovery plan, get you clean, get you better, get you work, and get your life to a position and trajectory to where you're going to vibrate at a higher frequency, okay? Everything in the world vibrates at a frequency. Quantum physics, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, okay? Everything at the molecular level, atoms, protons, electrons, tiny molecules, they vibrate at a frequency. Everything vibrates at a frequency. You vibrate at the highest frequency possible. The highest frequency possible, you're going to attract, kind of like the laws of attraction. You're going to attract better people in your life, better jobs, better opportunities, better friends, better circumstances, better situation. You're going to improve your life. You're going to make better decisions. You're going to think better. Your body's that machine. You're going to operate better. You're going to be more capable. You're going to be more coordinated. You're going to have more fun. You're going to enjoy life. The serotonin and dopamine and oxytocin in your body and norepinephrine is going to reset itself, right? With exercise and diet and nutrition. And you're going to feel better. You're going to be happier. You're going to be more motivated. And you're not going to be depressed anymore. Your mental illness will subside. Your drug addiction and drug cravings will subside. And you will get better, okay? 7-day free trial. Join, become a member, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Get clean, be wise, take care on the streets, and I want you all to make it and be successful in life, okay? Thank you for listening. Stay safe and take care.